Hey guys, welcome to a Goku of Light manga review. So for the most part, my channel has always revolved around One Piece and any kind of random content that I've done, and I've wanted to get more into like a weekly series that I could really do. And only two series really stand out to me that really catch my attention at the moment, and one of them is Seven Deadly Sins. The other one is Tokyo Ghoul. So what I wanted to do is start getting into weekly reviews. So that's pretty much what this will be. This is for chapter 135. And so going into it, let's just get right into the review. I don't want these videos to go too long since they're just reviews. It was hella hype for me. You know, I don't know how people feel about the Ten Commandments, but I think they're really dope. I like to see how their involvement in the series. Obviously, it's just another really, like, if you watch or read any other shonen, you know, there's always just like the bad guy group or the affiliates of bad guys kind of thing. It's obviously what this is. It's the opposite of the good guys, you know, group. But I really think that the way that they're doing it is really well done. The fact that we have, like, basically one of the main components of it is Mia Lotus's younger brother. What's his name? Let's get his. Zeldris. There you go, Zeldris. I knew I had it. I had written it down right here prior. Zeldris. You know, I think he looks pretty dope. I'm a big fan of the Uchihas, so I love the characters with the black hair and kind of like the more emo design. You know, it's kind of what he has. He's like a emo-looking Mia Lotus. I like that. The only problem is I think he's not going to be too deep of a character. I don't see we're going to see too much development from him. I expect him just to be like an anti-Mia Lotus, basically. Just, you know, completely against him and just trying to basically shortcut him at every turn kind of thing. Really, he seems like he has an abandonment thing. He seems pretty upset that, like, Mia Lotus pretty much ditched him. Obviously, it's his older brother. He has a reason to, so that makes sense. But I don't think he's going to be understanding in any way. It's interesting, too, because with him being there and then Fraudrin, you really got to think of who will be the last enemy. Because if this was, like, say if this is the final arc and this is how the series comes to a close somewhat, if this is like a long ongoing arc, then between the two of them, who's more qualified to be the final, like, opponent? Would it be the person that killed Liz, his love? Obviously, I think that's probably more likely with how, like, troubled he's seen from it. The last couple chapters where we've seen that, like, his biggest task or his biggest, I would say, like, test was to basically show that he could overcome that, and he really couldn't. He had to get to a point where he could pretty much just accept it and become, like, more like, the way they explained it is, like, he accepted what it was and, like, not bottled it up, but put it into, like, almost like a special place, so that way it's like when he unleashes it, it's like a storm kind of thing. It was kind of cool how they explained it, and really that he couldn't, there was no way that he, because at first the whole concept was that he had to eliminate emotion. If he didn't eliminate emotion, then he didn't deserve his true power back. He had to do this test and he had to prove himself to Zenelia. Zenelia was like one of the druids from the last chapter, the one with the dark hair. The one that actually seems, you know, it's interesting. It seems like she has feelings for Mia Lotus. That's what the vibe I got off of that. She seemed really worried about him, and she kept, you know, commenting on his emotions and all this other stuff. She didn't want him to die. It's interesting too, because, you know, we know that Mia Lotus is part of the Demon Clan, so we know that, like, for a druid to care about him is kind of interesting. I'm really wanting to see how he switched sides. If he used to belong to the Demon Clan and they have, like, these 10 commandments and all this other stuff, does that mean that he originally was part of that group? Like, somebody took his place, like, there was originally 11 commandments? Like, how does all that work? You know, if somebody has a better answer to that, comment below. Maybe I overread something. I didn't see that exactly. I binge read a lot of things, so I know I binge read, like, probably the last, like, 10 or 15 chapters, so I could have easily overlooked it, but I don't think it really explained his connection to the Demon Clan, quote unquote. I know that that's his brother, and that he used to be part of it, and he pretty much betrayed them, and, like, sealed them away. He was part of what, like, their defeat. And obviously a big component of it. You can see, like, now that he has his true power back, he's a fucking monster. I think that was expected, though. I expected him to have a huge power up. I didn't know that he was that weakened, though, like, in comparison to the rest of the 10 commandments prior to getting this power up. They got wrecked. Like, when Galleon came through, when Galleon showed up, and, you know, when he first showed up, I thought he was just gonna be, like, kind of like just the first villain kind of thing that always shows up and talks big and gets their ass kicked, but he fucking wrecked them. Like, if it wasn't for Gunther thinking so quick, they would have been done. You know, if he wouldn't have tricked him into thinking that they had died right there, then he would have really got the job done. You know, that was just some mind trick shit, some Jedi shit. They pulled a quick one, but they really should have died right there, so that was interesting. And now that we see him get his power up, he goes and do the whole 10-second hype. You know, he's like, give me 10 seconds. That's all I need. You know, I just want 10 seconds. I just want to talk to them. And so he teleports over there for a minute, pulls some Goku shit, does an instant transmission, shows up, basically just wants to flex on them for a minute and show that he's got his power back and he's not scared. You know, he's like, look, I'm not here to talk. This is just a warning. If you guys push it, I'm gonna fuck you up. So that was pretty cool. See Meliodas kind of flash. For me, like through the last year, he's probably, except for Ken Kaneki, he's probably my favorite main character. Tokyo Ghoul is probably one of my favorite new series, so it's hard to put this above that. But as far as like interesting and development and just like being, I would say, unique in itself, Meliodas is that character for me because one, he's bold, like he's like groping girls, he's saying whatever he thinks. He used to be a demon, and now somehow he's, you know, aligned with the humans. And there's a big thing about like tribes and clans on this. So he was part of the demon clan, now he's part of the human clan to a degree. So that's pretty interesting. And basically he was in love with the human, so obviously it has to have a big part and impact on it. Everything with Liz, that shit was crazy. You know, I saved some of those pages just because they were some of the best pages I've seen in the series. Like the manga, it was great. Like he was just freaking out, he was melting down. Really reminiscence for me of an Uchiha moment, how he was just losing it. So really dope, really like that. Yeah, and just overall I thought it was a great chapter. Some of the chapters were kind of slow, I would say. Of the last like 20 chapters, there was a few where I was like, like when they were doing the flashback, it was cool to see about the last sin, the lion, but at the same time, it was getting kind of slow with the whole vampire thing. So it was good to get back to the main plot. You know, switching over from the anime to this, you know, because you can actually watch the anime for the majority of the beginning part and get a good understanding before you switch over to the manga going into like around like chapter 100 or 101 or something like that. I expected it to get a lot more development, I guess you could say, out of like the last like 30-40 chapters. We really didn't move too far though. We went from one castle to another, and then we went from there to the Druids, and we're kind of getting an understanding of it though. So a lot of potential. You know, I hope they don't cut the series short. I hope that this arc is like the Frieza arc of Dragon Ball Z, or like the Aizen arc of Bleach, like just the Pain arc of Naruto, like just the main arc that really builds. Like I just want to spend a lot of time of the series in this arc and get really fulfillment with each of these characters. I hope they don't blow by the 10 Commandments and just like skip by them each, you know, in a real stupid way. Because for me, like looking at all the new characters, Dariri, I think that's how you say her name, Dariri, yeah. She's like the girl that like pretty much kind of looks similar to Meliodas, but she has really long hair, almost like a Saiyan, and she looks like she's almost naked, but she's like covered in darkness. She's fucking awesome. She's hype. She has like her own way of talking. Like she's like talking gibberish, and at the end of everything she says my ass. Like, so it's just like she's real vulgar and different of a character that I've seen, because usually if there's a character like that, it's real stupid and fat or something, but she's epic. Awesome. So give the chapter 8 out of 10. Most interesting thing for me going into the future is going to be Deary, because she's just awesome. I like unique new characters. And yeah, so let me know what you think. Let me know if you enjoyed the chapter, if I should keep doing these weekly reviews. I'm also going to do a few more series that I'm going to add to my weeklies, and I'll pretty much do a list that I'm going to post in a video that'll say these are my weeklies. Let me know if you guys want to, if you think I should add some, this or that. I won't remove any, because if I'm doing a series, it's because I like it. But if there's another series that you like and you want me to add it, I will consider it, so just comment below. And yeah, so 7 Deadly Sins, great manga, probably my second favorite manga coming into this year, behind One Piece, and after that it would be Tokyo Ghoul. But still, I like the elements of Tokyo Ghoul more. I just haven't had as much time to get current on it. I'm going to be getting current on it over the weekend, so you'll see my first review for it going into sometime next week. So yeah, don't want this to drag on too long. Like I said, it's already 9 minutes, so I feel like it's kind of long for a review. In the future, we'll try to keep them to about 5-6 minutes. But yeah, so let me know, comment below, let me know what you think. What was your favorite part of all this going on, from the 10 Commandments to now? Like, what was the most interesting thing you've seen, and who do you look most forward to? And yeah, this has been Goku of Light, chapter review. New mic, let me know if you think it sounds a lot better, and you guys have a good one.